grade 8, first lesson, exercise 1.1. Fill in the blanks. So this is question number 1, part 1. So we have been given the number pattern 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Okay. So they are asking the first term, right? First term. So the first term is what? 1. Then the second term is 3. Then the third term, the fourth term is 7. First term, second term, this is the fourth term. Okay. Now we will move to the second part of that question. So there also we have been given a number pattern 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. Right. So there the first term, this is the first term which is 4. Then the second term which is 8. Part 3 they are asking the third term which is 12. Second question. Write the terms of each of the following number patterns. So this is part 1. The number pattern of the even numbers between 1 and 9 written in ascending order. Right? So they are asking us to write down the number pattern of even numbers, right? Between 1 and 9. Right? So what is the answer? 2, 4, 6 and 8. We cannot take 10. Right? Why? We have been given a limitation, no? Between the numbers 1 and 9. එතකොට 10 කියන එක අපිට එතනදී ගන්න බෑ. The number pattern of the multiples of 6 from 6 to 36. From 6 to 36. Written in ascending order. From 6. That means we can start from 6. From 6 to 36. Right? That means what? If it is correct, we can add these two numbers to our answer. මේ numbers දෙක ගන්න පුළුවන් නම් අපේ උත්තරේට මේක ලියන්න පුළුවන්. Right. So 6, 12, 18, 24, 30 and 36. So that should be the answer. Just imagine, so if this has been given between 6 and 36. Between 6 and 36. 6 අතර කිව්වොත් අපිට මෙන්න මේ numbers දෙක උත්තරයක් හැටියට ගන්න බෑ. උත්තරයට ගන්න පුළුවන් නම් උත්තරයට ගන්න බෑ. Between 6 and 36. But here they are saying us from 6 to 36. එතකොට පුළුවන්. Part 3. The number pattern of the even numbers greater than 7 written in ascending order. So we have to write down the number pattern of even numbers, but it should be greater than 7. Right? Even numbers. 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 and so on. Why? We haven't been given a limitation. It should be greater than 7, but the limit of the other end has not been given. So what is this? This is an infinite number pattern. තිත්තුනක් තියෙනවා. Right. Part 4. The number pattern of the prime numbers starting from 2 written in ascending order. Right. So prime numbers 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13. We have been given where to start, but we haven't been given where to stop. පටන් ගන්න තැන කියලා තියෙනවා. නවතින්න ඕන තැන කියලා නෑ. එහෙනම් මොකද්ද මේක? Infinite number pattern එක. හරි? එතකොට මේ අන්තිම ගණන් දෙකේ මේ 33 අනිවාර්යෙන් දාන්න ඕන. අපි ඒවා කතා කරා. Exercise 1.1 question number 3. Copy the below given statements in your exercise book and mark correct statements with a correct and incorrect statements with a cross. Right. Part 1. The terms of a number pattern have to be in ascending order. So that is wrong. That is wrong. Why? If we take the number pattern 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So this is only in ascending order. හරි ascending order. අඩු එකේ ඉඳන් වැඩි එකට. And we can take the same thing. Start from here. 10, 8, 6, 4, 2 and so on. So a number pattern can be in ascending order and descending order, and also there are other patterns. අපි ඒවා කතා කරා. Right? So the thing is, so you're in grade 7 no? You're in grade 8 no? So starting from grade 9, you will get questions regarding number patterns which descend. ඔයාලා grade 8 වලදී හැම වෙලාවෙම මේ වැඩි වීගෙන යන number patterns සම්බන්ධ ගැටලු විතරයි කතා කරන්නේ. grade 8 වලදී වැඩි වීගෙන යන ඒවායි අඩු වීගෙන යන ඒවායි දෙකම ගැන කතා කරනවා. Right? So the first statement is incorrect. Right. So now we will move to the next statement. The terms of a number pattern have to be different from each other. Right? If you can remember, in my tube, right? There was a number pattern something like this. 3, 3, 3, 3. මතකද මෙන්න මෙහෙම number pattern එකක් තිබ්බා. Right? So there was a number pattern, this number pattern in the tube, and if you can remember, we talked about the common difference. So here the common difference is 0. Right? So this statement is also incorrect. Right? If the 10th terms of two number patterns are different, then the two number patterns are different from each other. Yes, that is true. That is the thing, no? Because those two are different number patterns, that is the reason why the 10th term is different. එකම number pattern එක තිබ්බනම් 10 වෙනි term එක වෙනස් වෙන්න ඉදිහක් නැහැනේ. Number patterns දෙකක් හන්ද තමයි වෙනස් වෙන්නේ. Right? So that that statement is correct. So the first one incorrect, second one incorrect, third one correct. Grade 8 number patterns, exercise 1.2, question number 1. So there we have a chart to fill, right? So I'm not going to draw the chart, right? So there are 3 columns. So the first column heading is number pattern, second column heading is first term, third column heading is general term, right? So here the number pattern is 1, 10, 15, 20, right? So the first term is 5. The general term is what? 5n. පහේ චක්‍රයනේ මේ තියෙන්නේ. Right, next one 10, 20, 30, 40. So what is the first term? 10. The general term 10n. Right. Next row 8, 16, 24, 32. What is the first term? 8. What is the general term? 8n. Right. 7, 14, 21, 28. What is the first term? 7. What is the general term? 7n. 12, 24, 36, 48. So what is the first term? 12. What is the general term? 12n. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4. What is the first term? 1. What is the general term? 1n. Right. So that is the end of question number 1. We are in exercise 1.2. This is question number 2. Write the number pattern of the multiples of 5 between 3 and 33 written in ascending order. Right? So, what are the limitations? We have to write the number pattern of multiples of 5 between 3 and 33. Right? So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, we cannot take 35 because it exceeds 33. So this is the answer. And also note that this is a finite number pattern. In the number pattern 11, 22, 33, 44 of the multiples of 11 starting from 11 and written in ascending order, what is the general term? What is the ninth term? Which term is 121? Right. So first of all, we will write down the number pattern 11, 22, 33 and 44. So they are asking what is the general term? What is it? 11n. Part 2. What is the ninth term? Ninth term means n will become 9. So 11 into 9, that is 99. Part 3. Which term is 121? Now 11n is equal to 121. We know the value of the term, but we don't know which term it is. අපි අගය දන්නවා හැබැයි කීවෙනි පදයේද කියන්න දන්නේ නැහැ. That means what? We have to calculate n. මේ n ව තමයි හොයාගන්න ඕන. So what do? We divide this side by 11, do the same thing to the other side. These are simple equations. දැන් මේවා මතක තියෙන්න ඕන. We can cancel out the 11 on the left side. 11 times 1, 11 times what? 11. So n will be what? 11. In the number pattern 9, 18, 27, 36 of the multiples of 9 starting from 9 written in ascending order, what is the general term? What is the 11th term? Which term is 270? Right. So we will write down the number pattern first. 9, 18, 27 and 36. Right. So what is the general term? 9n. Part 2. What is the 11th term? That means what? N will be equal to 11. So 9 times 11, that is 99. Right. Which term is 270? Now 9n is equal to 270. Just as before, we know the value of the term, but we don't know which term it is. So we have to find n. Right? So divide this side by 9, do the same thing to the other side. 9 times 1 and 9 times 30. So n is 30. What does n equals 30 means? If we calculate the 30th term of this number pattern, the value will be what? 270. In the number pattern with the general term 100n, what is the 11th term? Which term is 500? Right. So we have been given the general term, which is what? 100n. So this is the general term. What is the 11th term? That means what? N will be 11. So 100 into 11. So this will be 1100. Part 2. Which term is 500? Just as before. Now we know the value of the term, which is 500. We don't know which term it is. Right? So we have to substitute 500 into this equation, then find the value of n. Divide this side by 100, do the same thing to the other side. We can cancel out the 100. So 100 times 1, 100 times 5. Right? 100 times 5. So n will be equal to what? 5. What does this mean? If we calculate the fifth term, of this number pattern, what will be the value? It will be 500. Right. Question number 6. What is the smallest multiple of 3 larger than 100? Which term is it in the number pattern of the multiples of 3 starting from 3? Right. What is the smallest multiple of 3 larger than 100? Right. Now you have to remind yourself regarding what? How we calculate the divisibility of 3. Right. So the number should be what? It should be greater than 100. සියයට වැඩිය ලොකු වෙන්න ඕන තියෙන තුනෙන් බෙදෙන කුඩාම සංඛ්‍යාව වෙන්න ඕන. And it must be the smallest number divisible by 3. Divisible by 3. Right? So it should be greater than 100, no? What comes after 100? 101. Can we divide 101 by 3? No. Then divisibility rules මතක් වෙන්න ඕන. මෙයා බෙදෙන්නේ නැත්තේ කොහොමද කියන එක තේරුම් ගන්න ඕන. If we calculate the digital root of this number, it will be what? 1 plus 0 plus 1. 1 plus 0, that is 1. 1 plus 1, that is 2. So if we calculate the digital root of 101, it will be what? 2. Right? If this number is divisible by 3, මේ number එක 3ෙන් බෙදෙනවා නම් මේක digital root එක. දැන් මේ ඔළුවේ තියෙන්න ඕනේ. හරිද? මේ එන number එකට තමයි digital root එක කියලා කියන්නේ. මේ දෙකට digital root එක එහෙම කියන එක නෙමෙයි. මේ විදිහට අපි දීලා තියෙන number එකේ digits ටික එකතු කරගෙන යනවා තනි ඉලක්කමක් වෙනකම්. හරිද? එතකොට ඒ තනි ඉලක්කමට තමයි අපි කියන්නේ digital root එක කියලා. මේ number එක 3ෙන් බෙදනවා නම් මේ digital root එක හැටියට එහෙම නැත්නම් මෙන්න මේ number එක හැටියට එන්න ඕන එක්ක 3 එක්ක 6 එක්ක 9. එතකොට මෙතන දැන් මේ numbers වලින් එකක්වත් නෙමෙයි එන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ number එක බෙදෙන්නේ නැහැ. 3ෙන් බෙදෙන්නේ. What is the next number? 102. So we will calculate the digital root. 1 plus 0 plus 2. 1 plus 0, that is 1. 1 plus 2, that will be what? 3. අන්න. මේ number එක එනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? 102 is divisible by 3. එහෙනම් මොකද්ද මේකේ answer එක වෙන්නේ? What is the answer? The smallest number which is divisible by 3 but greater than 100. What is that? 102. එතකොට මේකේ answer එක වෙන්න ඕනේ මොකද්ද? 102. Right? So for the first part, the answer will be 102. එතකොට මේක divisibility බෙදනවා කියන එක පෙන්වන්න ඕනේ divisibility rules වලින් එක පෙන්නලා තියෙන්න ඕනේ. Right. ඒකෙන් තව කැලලක් අහනවනේ. මොකද්ද? Which term is it in the number pattern of the multiples of 3 starting from 3? කීවෙනි පදයේද කියලා අහනවා. So we are talking about a number pattern which contains multiples of 3. Multiples of 3 starting from 3 ascending on. මෙන්න මේ conditions ටික තියෙන number pattern එකක් ගැන තමයි කතා කරන්නේ. ඒතකොට කොහොමද මේකේ terms ටික එන්න ඕන? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 ඔන්න ඔය විදිහට. infinite number pattern මේ 33ක් මම අන්තිමට දානවා. එහෙනම් 102 කියන්නේ මේ number pattern එකේ කීවෙනි පදයේද? How do we find it? We know the general term is what? 3n. මේක දැන් දන්නවා. 3n is equal to what? 102. So n is what? 102 divided by 3. That means what? 34. ඒ කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? 102 is the 34th term. හරි ඔන්න ඔය විදිහට ලියලා තියෙන්න ඕන. What is the nth term? Within brackets general term of the pattern of the even numbers greater than 1 but less than 200 written in ascending order. So there's another part also. The smallest value of n is 1. What is it? Sorry. What is its largest value? Right? So in the first part, actually they are asking about the nth term. That means what? General term. Nth term means what? General term of a number pattern. අපි ඒවා කතා කරා. Nth term කිව්වත් general term කිව්වත් ඔය දෙකෙන් කියන්නේ එකම දේ. So what is the nth term? 2n no? අපි ඒවා කතා කරන්නේ. Right. Part 2. What are they asking? The smallest value of n is 1. What is the largest value? හරි. Largest value. ඒ කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? smallest value is 1. බලමු. When n is equal to 1, 2 times 1. So that is 2. Correct. හරි? අපි මේකේ number pattern එක නිකන් ලියාගත්තොත් කොහොමද තියෙන්නේ? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 ඔන්න ඔය විදිහටනේ. So here this is a general term. So the smallest value of n මේ n එක ගැන කතා කරන්නේ. Smallest value of n is what? 1. හරිනේ ඉතින් 2 එතකොට අපි මෙතන when n is equal to 1 what happens? 2 times 1 no? So 2 නේ. එතින් දැන් අපෙන් අහන්නේ මොකද්ද? 200ට වැඩිය අඩු මේ number pattern එකේ තියෙන ලොකුම number එක මොකද්ද? What is the largest value? What is the largest value? If we take the upper limit as 200, එහෙනම් මෙයාම ගන්න බෑනේ. මෙයාට වැඩි අඩු මොකද්ද මේ number pattern එකකින් එක්කන? 198. So the answer is what? 198. It has been estimated that in a country having a population of 2 million people, the population will increase by 2 million people every 25 years. Right? Estimate the population of the country in 200 years. Right. So let's take the population when it is 2 million. So after some time, this 2 million becomes 4 million. After how many years? 25 years has gone by. This 4 million becomes 6 million. From here, after 25 years has gone by. හරි එතකොට මෙතන ඉඳන් මෙතනට එන්න යන්නේ අවුරුදු 25යි. හැබැයි අපි මෙතන ඉඳන් හිතුවොත් එහෙම අවුරුදු 50යි නේ. එහෙම නෙවෙන්නේ. This 6 million becomes 8 million from this point after 25 years has passed by. එතකොට අපි මෙතන ඉඳන් හිතුවොත් එහෙම අවුරුදු 75යි. එහෙම නෙවෙන්නේ. Okay. Then what is the general term? මේක number pattern එකක් කියලා හිතුවොත් එහෙම what is the general term? 4 minus 2 we get 2. 6 minus 4 we get 2. 8 minus 6 we get 2. එහෙනම් මොකක්ද general term එක? මේකේ general term එක වෙන්නේ මොකද්ද? They are not asking the general term, but in order to solve this question we need to find the general term. So here the general term is what? 2n. So අපිට කියන්න මොකද්ද? Estimate the population of the country in 200 years. In 200 years. හරි. එතකොට අවුරුදු 25 ඒවා කීයක් ගියපුවමද? ඒ කියන්නේ මෙතන 25 ඒවා කීයක්ද 200ක් කියන්නේ. Take 200 and divide it by 25. 25 times 1, 25 times 8. කොහොමද අපි ගන්නෙ? If we take 100, that means what? 4 of 25. Then if we take 200, that means what? 100ට 25 ඒවා 4ක් නම් 200ක් කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? ඒ වගේ දෙගුණයක් නේ. එහෙනම් මේ 4 කියන එකත් දෙගුණයක් වෙන්න ඕන 8ක්. Right? So there are 8 of 25s are there in 200. එහෙනම් මෙතන n කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? n becomes 8. n becomes 8. Therefore 2 times 8 and the population is what? And the population is 16 million. 16 million. Right. Grade 8, first lesson, number patterns, exercise 1.3. Question number 1. Right. In the pattern of odd numbers starting from 1 and written in ascending order, what is the 12th term? What is the 15th term? Right. So, we know when we talk about odd numbers, right? When we talk about odd numbers, what is the general term? The general term is 2n minus 1. අපිට මේක ඕන වෙනවා. So, in the first part, what are they asking? They are asking to find the 12th term. That means what? N will be equal to 12. So, 2, this n becomes 12 minus 1. 2 times 12, we know that is 24. 24 minus 1, we know that is 23. So the answer is 23. Right. So in part 2, they are asking what is the 15th term. So n will be what? 15. So 2 times 15 minus 1. Right? මේකටම තමයි අපි substitute කරන්නේ. This n becomes what? 15. 2 times 15, that becomes 30. 30 minus 1, we know that is 29. So the answer is 29. Third part. Which term is 89? That means what? 2n minus 1, we know the value of the specific term. We don't know which term it is. මේ n ව දන්නේ. එහෙනම් 2n minus 1 plus 1. Do the same thing to the other side. So we can cancel out the ones. So 2n equals what? 90. Okay, so I will write, I will continue from here. So 2n minus 90. So n is what? 90 divided by 2. That becomes 45. So what does that mean? If we calculate the 45th term, the value will be what? 89. Which term is the greatest odd number less than 100? What is the greatest odd number less than 100? 99, no? 99. If come to 1 don't 99. Find the value of the sum of the 34th term of the pattern of the even number starting from 2 and the 34th term of the pattern of the odd numbers starting from 1. So we have to calculate the 34th term of the even numbers starting from 2, right? And the 34th term of the odd numbers starting from 1, then add those numbers together, right? So if we consider the even numbers, right? Even numbers, even number pattern, right? Starting from 2, what is the general term? 2n. Then what will be the 34th term? N will be equal to 34. So 2 times 34, that means 68. So if we consider the odd number pattern, what will be the general term? 2n minus 1. What will be the 34th term? That means n will be equal to 34. So 2 times n is what? 34 minus 1. We know n times 32, that is 68. 68 minus 1, that is 67. So here what is the value? How do we find the value? Let's take this as 1 and this as 2. Just have to add these together. Right? So what is the value? 135. 135. Right. Grade 8, lesson number 1, number patterns, exercise 1.4. Okay. Question number. What is the 10th term of the square number pattern starting from 1 and written in ascending order? Right. So we know when we talk about square numbers, the general term will be what? N square, or n times n. So here they are asking the 10th term, no? So n will be equal to 10. So this will be what? 10 into 10. So the answer is 100. Right. Part 2. What is the 10th term of the triangular number pattern starting from 1 and written in ascending order? Right. So the 10th term. And when we talk about triangular numbers, we know the general term is what? N times n plus 1 within brackets and the whole thing divided by 2. So here also n will be become 10, and within inside the bracket also n is 10 plus 1. Then the whole thing divided by 2. 10 into 11 divided by 2. 10 plus 1, 11. 2 times 1, 2 times 5. So 5 into 11, we get what? 55. So 55 is the answer. A certain number greater than 1 and less than 50, which is a term of the square number pattern starting from 1 and written in ascending order, is also a term of the triangular number pattern starting from 1 and written in ascending order. What is a term? Right. So this is a third question. Right. So there's a specific number present in the square number pattern and the triangular number pattern. Right. When we talk the square number pattern, when we talk the square number pattern, we have been given a limitation, that is what? 1 and 50. So මේ number එක තියෙන්නේ 1යි 50යි අතර. And when we talk about triangular number pattern, right? It says that this triangular number pattern starts from 1 and written in ascending order. මෙතන square number pattern එක එකෙන් පටන් ගන්න ascending order එකට ලියාගෙන යන්න. හැබැයි එයාගේ limit එකක් තියෙනවා. මෙයාගේ limit එකක් අපිට දීලා නැහැ. Right? අනිත් පැත්ත limit එක දීලා නැහැ triangular number pattern එකේ. Right. So when we talk about the numbers, square numbers between 1 and 50, let's write what are the square numbers on this range. So we have 2, 4, 9, 16, 25, right? 36 and 49. So these are square number pattern, square numbers, right? I'm just going to write square numbers. Mama square කෙනෙක් විතරයි ලියන්නේ. Then the triangular numbers, right? අපි ලියමු බලන්න. We have 1, then we have 3, then we have what? 6, then 10, then 15, then 21. Right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the fifth term. So this is the sixth term. Then the seventh term. That means what? We can add a 7 to 21. So that becomes 28. Right? Then, right. So this is the seventh term. Right? Then I will add another 8. So this becomes what? 36. So this is the 8th term. Right? Then after that becomes what? 9th term. So I can add 9 to here. So this becomes 45. So this is the 9th term. So the next term is what? 10th term. So I have to add 10 to that. But when I, so 10 to that. So this becomes 55. When we compare the square number pattern and the triangular number pattern, right? This is the limit. I square number pattern එක අපිට කියනවානේ 50ට වැඩිය වැඩි වෙන්න බෑ කියලා. එහෙනම් අපි 45ට විතරයි කතා කරන්නේ. එහෙනම් මේ numbers ටික ගැන බලාගෙන ගියපුවාම what is a number? What is a number? 36. Okay? So the term here is what? 36. Term is 36. Okay. Which square number is it? Square number. We know this is the 6th square number. Right. So they are asking which term is this? Okay. If you write the triangular numbers starting from 1 in ascending order, 1, 3, 6, 10, 15. So this is the 5th term. Right. Then after that 21. So that's the 6th term. 6th triangular number. Then 28. This is the 7th. Then 36. So 8th term. 8th term. So when you talk about triangular numbers, that is the 8th term. The sum of the 14th and 15th terms of the triangular number pattern starting from 1 is a square number. Show that this statement is true and find which term it is of the square number pattern. Right. So we know when we add consecutive triangular numbers, it equals to what? It equals to a square number. Right? And also we know this is the general term of triangular numbers. So we will find the 14th term. That means what? N will be equal to 14. So 14 into 14 plus 1, the whole thing divided by 2. right? So 14 into 15, the whole thing divided by 2. 2 times 1 and 2 times 7, right? So 7 times 15, that is what? 105. Okay, so the next thing, n equal to 15. That means what? This n becomes 15. So 15 plus 1, the whole thing divided by 2. So 15 times 15 plus 1, that is 16. So 2 times 1, 2 times 8. So 15 into 8, we know that is what? 120. Now we will add these numbers together. Right? 105, we will add 120. So this becomes what? 225. Right? So when we talk about 225, that is the 15th square number. Right? If you take 15 and if you multiply it again by 15, you will get what? 225. So the statement is true and the square number is 15 square number. Right. Question number 5. Write the total number of triangles in each figure in order and see whether you can identify a pattern. Right. Okay. So if we take the first figure, we have only one triangle. If we take the second figure, we have 3 triangles. And if we take the third figure, how many triangles? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Right? And if we take the fourth figure, and if we count down the triangles, right? Hari. අපි මේ third figure එක ගමු පොඩ්ඩක්. මෙන්න මෙහෙම එකක් නේ තියෙන්නේ. කොහොමද 6ක් එන්නේ? So now I'm talking about the third figure. This is the third figure. How many triangles? මෙන්න මෙහෙම එකක් තියෙනවා. හරි? 1. ඊළඟට මේ මැද එක. 1, 2, 3. ඊළඟට මෙන්න මෙහෙම. So that is 4. ඊළඟට මෙන්න මෙහෙම. That is 5. And the whole thing. මෙහෙම තියෙන triangle එක, යා triangle එකක්. ඔක්කොම කීයද? 6. හරිද? ඊළඟට ඔය විදිහට if you count all the triangles in the fourth figure, you will get 10 triangles. Right. So what are they asking? So if we observe the numbers 1, 3, 6 and 10, what are these? The first 4 numbers of the triangular number pattern. Right? So what is the general term? N times n plus 1, the whole thing divided by 2. Right. The pattern of the total number of triangles in the figure, in the figures in the given order is identical to the pattern of triangular numbers starting from 1 and written in ascending order. Find the total number of triangles in the 8th figure that is drawn according to this pattern. That means what? N will be equal to 8. So 8 into 8 plus 1, whole thing divided by 2. So 8 into 8 plus 1, that is 9, the whole thing divided by 2. 2 times 1, 2 times 4. 4 times 9 is what? 36. So the total number of triangles are 36. Right. Now we will look at question number 6. So what does it say? Sayuni buys a till and starts saving money by putting 1 rupee into it on the first day. Right. So first day 1 rupee. On the second day she puts 2 rupees. On the third day she put 3 rupees. These are rupees, huh? All are rupees. And on fourth day 4 rupees. Fifth day ඔය අර විදිහට ගත්තොත් 5 rupees නේ. ඔය විදිහට නෑන්නේ. how much money is in the till by the end of the 10th day? Right. So this is the second day. How many, what is the total of the money? 1 plus 2, no? පළවෙනි දවසේ රුපියලක් දැම්මා, දෙවෙනි දවසේ රුපියල් දෙකක් දානවා. This is a till, no? එහෙනම් ඔක්කොම කීයද? 3 rupees. දැන් දෙවෙනි දවසේ වෙනකොට මේ රුපියල් 3ක් තියෙනවා. තුන්වෙනි දවසේ මේ දැන් තුනක් එකතු වෙලා තියෙන කැටේට තව රුපියල් 3ක් දානවා. Then what is the total? 3 plus 3, no? That becomes 6. Fourth day. හතරවෙනි දවසේ වෙනකොට කැටේ රුපියල් 6ක් තියෙනවා. හතරවෙනි දවසේනේ රුපියල් 4ක් තව දානවා. What is the total? 6 plus 4, that becomes 10. පළවෙනි දවසේ තියෙන කොච්චරද? 1යි. මොනවද මේ numbers? මම දැක්ක ගමන් දැන් මතක් වෙන්න ඕන. 1 3 6 10. These are the first 4 numbers of the triangular number patterns, no? Number pattern. Right? So they are asking what? How much money is in the till by the end of the 10th day? 10th day. කොහොමද ගන්නෙ? What is the general term of the triangular number patterns? N into n plus 1, the whole thing divided by 2. So here n becomes 10. So 10 into 10 plus 1, whole thing divided by 2. So 10 into 11, whole thing divided by 2. 2 times 1 and 2 times 5. 5 into 11, we know that is 55. So what is the answer? Rupees 55. You have to mention the unit. Right. Grade 8, first lesson, number patterns, miscellaneous questions. Right. Question number 1. In the pattern of odd numbers starting from 1, commencing from the first term, if the first 2 terms, then the first 3 terms, then the first 4 terms are added and continued accordingly, a special type of numbers is obtained. Right. So first of all, we will write down the number pattern. So here they are talking about odd numbers starting from 1, written in ascending order. Right. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Okay. Commencing from the first term, if the first 2 terms, right. What are the first 2 terms? 1 and 3. So we have to add them. 1 plus 3, we know that is 4. Then 1 plus 3 plus 5. So we know that is 9. Then 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7, we know that is 16. 1 plus 3, that is 4. 4 plus 5, that is 9. 9 plus 7, that is 16. Okay. A special type of numbers is obtained. හරි. ඒ කතා කරන්නේ මෙන්න මෙයාලා ගැන. That is somewhat special, no? අපි ඊළඟ එක ගමු. 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7 plus 9. එතකොට අපි මෙතන ඉඳන් මෙතනටම දැන් අපි මේ නම්බර් සෙට් එක ගත්තොත් මේ නම්බර් සෙට් එකමනේ මෙතන තියෙන්නේ. right? එතකොට මේ ටිකේ එකතු අපි 16ක් කියන්න දන්නවා. If we add 9 to 16, we know that is 25. So these numbers are special, no? What are these numbers? Square numbers, no? What is the special name given to these numbers? So part 1, what are these? Square numbers. Part 2, find the number that is obtained if 15 of these terms are added in order starting from the first term. So here, when we got 4, how many numbers did we add? 2, no? 1 and 2. Numbers dekak ekatu kara. Right? So when we got 9, we add 3 numbers together. When we got 16, we add 4 numbers together. When we got 25, we added 5 numbers all together. So now they are asking what? And 15 of these numbers. That means what? When we talk about square numbers, we know the general term is what? N squared or n times n. So here n is what? 15. So n is equal to 15. That means what? 15 times 15. So here the answer is 225. The answer is 225. Right. Question number 2. Milk tins brought to a shop to be sold were arranged on a rack in the following manner. 10 tins on the lowest shelf and every other shelf having one less tin than the number on the shelf below it. ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් tins ටික තියෙනකොට හරිද එකක් තිබ්බොත් එහෙම shelf එකේ tins 10ක් තිබ්බොත් එහෙම ඊළඟ එක කොච්චරද තියෙන්නේ? tins 9යි. ඊළඟ එක කොච්චරද තියෙන්නේ? tins 8යි. ඊළඟ එකේ 7යි. ඔන්න ඔය විදිහට තියෙන්නේ. යට ඉඳන් උඩට from bottom to up. Find the number of milk tins that were brought to the shop. Right? එතකොට when we talk about this specific question, so this is related to some patterns that we talked about the triangular numbers, right? So we know when we talk about triangular numbers, I will write down the first 5 of them: 1, 3, 6, 10 and 15, right? So if I take the number 3 and if I draw this as a triangle, it should be something like this. So this is the second triangular number. So this is the third one. If I draw this as a triangle representing this number, it should be something like this. මේවා දන්නවනේ ත්‍රිකෝණ සංඛ්‍යා කියන මොනවද? මේ වගේ ත්‍රිකෝණයක් විදිහට නම් එකක් represent කරන්න පුළුවන් නම් ඒ numbers මොනවද? Triangular numbers. So this is the third triangular number. This is the fourth one, right? So the fourth triangular number, that is 10. So if we count the circles here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10, right? So this is 3, this is 6 and this is 10, right? And if you observe the last row, the second triangular number has 2 circles. The third triangular number has 3 circles. The fourth triangular number has 4 circles. And according to this pattern, if we write 15, on the last row we have 5. Right? Second triangular number, at the last row we have 2 circles. Third triangular number, at the last row we have 3 circles. Fourth triangular number, at the last row we have 4 circles. Then according to this pattern, fifth triangular number, at the last row we have 5 circles. එතකොට ওই විදිහට ගත්තොත් එහෙම බලන්න මේකේ අන්තිම row එකේ tins කීයක් තියෙනවද? 10 tins on the lowest shelf. එහෙනම් මොකද්ද මේ කතා කරන්නේ? These are patterns similar to triangular numbers. So in the bottom shelf we have 10 tins. That means what? Here they are talking about triangular numbers and specifically the 10th triangular number, no? ඒකනේ අන්තිම shelf එකේ 10ක් තියෙනවා කියන්නේ tins, right? Part 1, find the number of milk tins that were bought to the shop, right? So that means what? We know the general term is what? N within brackets n plus 1, the whole thing divided by 2. So the last row has 10 tins. That means what? N is equal to 10. So here n is 10. So 10 plus 1, the whole thing divided by 2, right? So 10 into 11, the whole thing divided by 2. 2 times 1, 2 times 5. So we get what? 5 into 11. So the number of tins are what? 55. So that is the first part. All the milk tins. So that is the. So now we are discussing the second part. All the milk tins on the 4 topmost shelves were sold within 2 weeks. All the milk tins on the 4 topmost shelves were sold within 2 weeks. Find the number of milk tins that were sold. So before we do the explanation, we will just visit the question again, right? So 10 tins on the lowest shelf and every other shelf having one tin less than the number on the shelf below it. හරි උඩට යන්න යන්න අඩු වෙනවා. තව පොයින්ට් එකක් දීලා තිනවා. 1 tin on the topmost shelf. right? So මෙතන question එක අපි මොකද කියන්නේ? All the milk tins of the 4 topmost shelves were sold, right? Within 2 weeks. The duration is not important. Find the number of milk tins that were sold. හරි? එහෙනම් මේ pattern එකේ අනුව topmost shelf we have 1. උඩට යන්න යන්න එක එක අඩු වීගෙන යනවා නම් උඩින් ඉඳන් පල්ලෙහාට යන්න එක එක වැඩි වීගෙන යන්න ඕන. එහෙනම් ඊළඟ එකේ තියෙන්නේ tins 2යි. ඊළඟ එකේ තියෙන tins 3යි. ඊළඟ එකේ තියෙන tins 4යි. මොකද්ද මේ? අපිට මේක දෙවිදිහට ගන්න පුළුවන්. අපෙන් අහන්නේ මොකද්ද? The number of tins, no? That was sold. So 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. මොකද්ද මේ? අපි මේ විදිහට ගත්තාම අපි දන්නවනේ අපි ඉගෙනගෙන තියෙනවා. මගේ අර ෂෝට් වීඩියෝ එක බලනවා නම් ඔයාලා මම මේක ගැන එතනදී කියනවා. අපි නම්බර් එකක් මේ විදිහට ඇඩ් කරොත් එහෙම මේ කීවෙනි term එකකට අපිට එන්නේ? Which term? These are triangular numbers. Which triangular number do we get? Fourth one. What is the fourth triangular number? 10. So how many milk tins were sold? 10. Right. Question number 3. What is the sum of integers from 1 to 30? Sum of integers from 1 to 30. Right. අපි පොඩ්ඩක් එකපාරට ආන්සර් එකට යන්න නැතුව හරි පොඩ්ඩක් බලමු මේ question එක දිහා. Okay, so first of all I will write the first 5 consecutive triangular numbers, right? So what are those? 1, 3, 6, 10 and 15. අපි මුල් පහ විතරක් ගමුකෝ. Right? මුල් පහ විතරක් ගමු. Now I'm going to take the second triangular number. So we know we can write 3 as what? 1 plus 2. If we talk about consecutive whole numbers, අපි මේක ඉගෙන ගත්තා 3 කියන එක අපිට මෙන්න මේ විදිහට ලියන්න පුළුවන්. So 1 plus 2 is what? 3. Right? So this is the second triangular number. Second. Second triangular number. 2 second. Deka. Now take the next number. How can we write 6? 1 plus 2 plus 3. So that is 6. This is what? The third triangular number. Third. 3. Next one. 10. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. 1 plus 2 is what? 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 plus 4 is what? 10. So this is the fourth triangular number. 4. දැන් ඔයාලට pattern එකක් තේරෙනවනේ. හරි? question එක අපෙන් අහන්නේ මොකද්ද? What is the sum of integers starting from 1 to 30? ඒ කියන්නේ 1 දන 2 දන 3 දන ඔහොම ලියාගෙන ගිහලා අන්තිමට එන්න ඕන 30. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus ඔහොම ගිහලා අන්තිමට plus මෙයාට කලින් ඉන්නේ කවුද? 29. මෙන්න මේ සංඛ්‍යා ටිකේ එකතෝන ගන්න තියෙන්නේ. එහෙනම් අර අපි කලින් දැක්ක pattern එක හැටියට ගත්තොත් මොකද්ද මේ? Here this is 30. That means what? 30th triangular number. That means what? N equals 30. මොකද්ද මේ n කියලා ගත්තේ? We know the general term of the triangular numbers. Right? That is what? N into n plus 1, the whole thing divided by 2. So here n will be what? 30. So equals 30 within brackets 30 plus 1, the whole thing we have to divide by 2. Okay? So 30 into 31, the whole thing divided by 2. So 2 times 1 and 2 times 15. So when we do the multiplication, we get what? 465. 465. So that is the answer for question number 3. Right.